Just working on getting this shadow band taken care of, because we are totally shadow banned. Alright, we're starting to fill up. We're starting to get some people in here. That's a good thing. I'm going to post on Mac's Instagram and then we're good to... Alright, let's do it. We're going live. Welcome to the show. We're fighting a very, very vast shadow ban because anything Mac's Public House does is easily blocked. We wouldn't have 3, so I had to go to their Instagram. I had to go everywhere to move this. We're already starting to go up. Hopefully we stay that way. So, everybody, we the people are the news. We're going to break some stuff down today. So I hope you're ready, because this is always, as always, eye-opening. We're going to start with a reminder that this is a watermelon, not an apple. And if you disagree, you are a conspiracy theorist, because you're not allowed to have an opinion. There's only one way to think, and we're going to show you why the world is going mad. Completely mad. So let's start. The Daily Caller reports, House Democrats are pressuring TV broadcasters to deplatform conservative networks. Why is this something that one should worry about? Well, that is exactly what I will break down for you. As long as my software doesn't crap out on me as well. Here we go. Well, congressional Dems sent a letter to Comcast, Amazon, Google, AT&T, and others demanding to know what they plan to do about the spread of dangerous misinformation from Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax, including whether they will continue to carry them. What in the world is going on? I'd like to put out a very basic thing. If all the conservatives band together and just started putting pressure on Verizon, AT&T, and anyone that carries any network to stop carrying conservative networks, stop carrying MSNBC, you cannot restrict the news to keep one point of view prominent. And I'm going to explain why this is important with stories that you would never hear about, and how easily things are covered up if you're not allowed to listen because everything is restricted and it's state-ran media, just like China, just like all communist regimes. The news is dictated to you. So, media stays silent as Biden illegally holds unaccompanied migrant children, says Border Patrol Union. This is still ongoing. This is still happening, and it's actually not supposed to be happening anymore. That's the whole entire point of where the election went. The children in cages, the cages were built in 2014. The pictures used to depict the cages were from the Obama-Biden administration. And it's all about how you can skew it to meet certain narratives. However, in this case, the narrative is not even getting wiped off. The narrative it's still happening. But you wouldn't know that if certain media stations were taken away. Instead, you'd get things like this. The Washington Post says the first migrant facility for children opens under Biden. So now it sounds like it's a 5-star hotel, and it's not a cage. It's the same crap. The same crap is happening. It's just a different day and a different politician, and they're selling it to you a different way. They're not selling it to you. They're telling it to you a certain way. If I put you in a cage, or if I put you in a cage a year later, you're still in a cage. Get what I'm saying? It's madness. So you have the typical meme. But you say, how can this happen? And where does it go? Well, here we go. This is exactly what we have. So the Washington Post, their tagline is democracy dies in darkness. So we can never let everything go dark and be told to you in just one way. I think everyone could agree on that. So, perfect example, they asked Elon Musk about something recently, and Tesla did not respond to repeated requests for comments. In response to emails seeking comment, Musk replied only, "Give my regards to your puppet master," which is, of course, the owner of the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. If the puppet master is pulling the strings, you're never going to really report things bad about the puppet master. So this is what I'm saying. There has to be checks and balances and different people in media, or otherwise the agreed narrative and the agreed what they're going to tell you on the news, like when the CNN tapes leaked through Project Veritas, there was like 90 days of meetings that James O'Keefe sat in on, and they said what they were going to report, how they were going to report it, what they would give attention to, and how it would help them get their candidate in for the election. It's like, then they threatened to sue him, but when they did the same thing and they recorded the tapes of Melania Trump talking to somebody, it was free media. So it all depends on what you're being sold, when you're being sold, and what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. If people are going to sit in and release tapes one way, it's good to do it the other way as well, one would assume. But what else can you possibly miss? Well, you'd miss well, this is off social media, but you'd miss the actual feelings that are coming out from people that voted for Biden. So I got a bunch of tweets. And again, this is going to vary because some people are going to be happy with Biden, some people are not going to be happy, which is all good. And there's going to be people far, far on the left and people far on the right. So you're going to have different ones, but you get a basic gist when you start going on the internet and you start reading straight from people's mouths. I'm too broken to be pissed. I had to vote for this guy with a smile because we had to get rid of Trump. And I'm fed up with the disingenuous garbage. We can't protest either because otherwise we're as bad as Trump people. This is genius oppression. Well, that's very interesting. Okay, moving on to some more tweets. Legit question. If Biden is backpedaling on student loans, is backpedaling on stimulus checks, is backpedaling on minimum wage, is backpedaling on closing detention facilities, why did I vote for him, and why would I vote for literally any Democrat ever? This is where the election cycle comes into play. You make promises, and then you do not keep them, and then they say, what was the point if you've gone back? And this is how you lose voters on the come around, the flip, and the midterms. This woman, the cat, has made her appearance on the show. This woman went straight out and said, Biden fucking sucks. I can't curse, I'm reading the tweet. This one here, can we talk about how horrible Joe Biden is and how much I regret not publicly criticizing this man the entire election cycle? Would it matter? Because politics are corrupt. So, not that I'm saying I would want Bernie Sanders in there. That would be probably the worst of the worst. But did the man ever have a fair shake? Going into when Biden started turning in the primaries, everyone dropped out of the election and backed Biden. There's a reason. Because the swamp, either on the right side or the left side, they're thick as thieves. Most of them are actually thieves. So what they did was they skewed the entire process so everyone would band behind Biden to beat Bernie. But Bernie should just run as a complete socialist and not a Democrat because he's a socialist. It was it was like the Avengers. Maybe the Suicide Squad. Okay. Biden sucks, Biden sucks, Biden sucks. I hate it here. Establishment Democrats will never ever care about us. Help is not fucking coming.
That was easy.
And then there are still kids in cages. Why do we still have kids in cages? The American people were fooled again. So everybody's getting angry. However, when you're in control of the media, you would never hear this. When you start muting how people can talk on social media, you will never hear this. When you find out how many people are coming forward now about things Andrew Cuomo did, which I have my Cuomo flag upside down today if you didn't notice, your head starts to spin that this guy is still in office. And you start to go, all summer long, I saw him joking around and playing on primetime news with his brother on CNN. Because when the news is controlled and everyone and all the comedians, everyone's saying how great Andrew Cuomo is, people start to believe it. And then you find out that other Democrat politicians in New York were like, he threatened my life, essentially. And then the big idiot, Bill de Blasio, comes out and goes, this is normal when you speak to Andrew on the phone. This is the types of conversations Andrew has. And he already had one sexual harassment charge come out, and now here's the next one. And this woman is saying, everybody come forward and say what Andrew has done to you. Well, let's see what Andrew did to this woman right here. So, former Cuomo staffer accuses him of kissing her without consent, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. We have more documents. Let's play strip poker. Now, imagine if your boss, the governor of New York, has you in a room and looks you in the eye after kissing you without actually having permission to kiss you and says, let's play strip poker. I don't know what world we're in, but that is the definition of #MeToo. But we're going to go through it. So I should have been shocked by the governor's crude comment, but I wasn't. We were flying home from an October 2017 event in Western New York on his taxpayer-funded jet. He was seated facing me, so close our knees almost touched. His press aide was to my right, and a state trooper behind us. That's exactly what I was thinking. I responded sarcastically and awkwardly. I tried to play it cool, but in that moment I realized just how, I can't read that word. God, I feel so stupid. Acquiescent I had become. Acquiescent. Thank you, studio audience. Governor Andrew Cuomo had created a culture within his administration where sexual harassment and bullying is so pervasive that it I kind of jumped around in the article, as you can see. I tried to excuse his behavior, but I told myself it's only words. But that changed after a one-on-one briefing with the governor to update him on economic and infrastructure projects. We were in his New York City office on 3rd Avenue. As I got up to leave and walked toward an open door, he stepped in front of me and kissed me on the lips. I was in shock, but I kept walking. I left past the desk of Stephanie Benton. I was scared that she had seen the kiss. The idea that someone might think I held my high-ranking position because the governor's crush on me was more demeaning than the kiss itself. After that, my fears worsened. I came to work nauseous every day. My relationship with the senior team, mostly women, grew hostile. This is a great working experience for these people that work for Governor Cuomo. He's an A-OK guy. But would you hear anything like this? So we already know that when the hard drive of Hunter Biden leaked, it was said that everything was already investigated, none of it's true, it's disinformation, and then CNN reported a month and a half later that in fact it was true, but everyone on conservative media already knew it was true. But it waited for the opportune time, because when you control the news and the narrative, you can release stuff that's going to get out anyway, more on your timeline if people believe what you're saying. So, I don't know how this stuff keeps coming out. Well, I know how it came out. He left the hard drive and the computer at the shop, but I mean, it doesn't even freak me out anymore how crazy Hunter is, and it's beyond weird, but this is a new revelation, and it just gets a little more bizarre. So, Hunter Biden was living with his brother Beau's widow, Haley, which we know they got married, while sending raunchy texts and FaceTiming in the shower with her sister, her married sister, as they declared their love, and she called him her prince. Now, this seems like an episode of Jerry Springer. And if this world is really a simulation, we're in the Jerry Springer version of it when it comes to the White House. And you thought the last White House would take the cake, because they had some eccentric people. But this is stranger. Hunter Biden began dating his late brother Beau's widow, Haley Biden, shortly after Beau died of brain cancer in 2015. The unconventional relationship was first exposed in March 2017, with Joe Biden issuing a statement giving his blessing to the couple. TheDailyMail.com can reveal that Hunter was also exchanging sexual text messages with Haley's then-married sister, Elizabeth Secundi, if that's how you say her last name, about that time. In a 2016 text conversation, recovered from his abandoned laptop hard drive, Hunter offered to teach Secundi how to masturbate. This is very, very strange shit. Secundi, 49, was married to husband Joel Secundi, referred to Hunter as her prince, and told him she loved him in the texts. Another conversation showed Hunter texted Secundi telling her he had been up late watching bad porno movies like I'm 13. End quote. Secundi separated from her husband and father of 3 children in 2015 after 15 years of marriage. Their divorce was finalized 3 years later. So at least she was separated at the time of this. But it's weird. The whole thing is weird. And the fact that there's so many videos of him shaving his private parts over a mirror with hookers smoking crack is so very weird. Hunter Biden had a controversial affair with his brother Beau's grieving widow, Haley, while exchanging much text, partying, and even renting a house with her sister. Very bizarre stuff. But you would never hear that if there was only one source of media that gets approved. You cannot possibly hear that. And if politicians are trying to stop distributors like AT&T, Comcast, and all this from carrying things like OAN and everything, you have to question, where does it stop and what are you allowed to know? Well, we're going further. Hold on. So all of this got all sorts of banged up. But we're going to continue. So, yep, wait. Okay, yeah, so here's this. So, would you know how we're trying so hard to beat China, but more than 25% of Hong Kong's population of 7.4 million people protested this weekend? By that amount, you're saying that's the largest protest in modern history. Absolutely stunning. So, people here are allowing this to go on. They want it to go on, and China's begging for freedom. China has concentration camps of people that are Muslim, and they're getting raped, tortured, forced labor, and our current sitting president says it's just a difference in culture. So, I mean, when the blinders are on and you say, okay, well, the news says this is all good, I can't say, look, you can't see my eyes. The news says this is all good. And then out of nowhere, right, you're sitting there, somebody goes, bam, they take the blinders off. And then you're seeing very clear. You're seeing all over the place. But that, my friends, is what we're trying to stop. We're trying to stop the never-ending streamline of crap that they're feeding us. And it's important that we do. Because right now, we're going to get into it pretty soon. And you're going to see how ridiculous that this becomes. It's very scary, and the fear tactics, and then how dumbed down we've become. Holy good God, my droogies. Well, here we go. We're going to go into COVID, okay? If the vaccine doesn't allow us to resume normal life, then what's the point of the vaccine? Again, if the vaccine lets you carry the virus or get the virus in 3 months and you still have to quarantine, what's the point to have messenger RNA injected into you? Well, we're going to get into that now. We're going to see where the fear tactics go. Okay, so even if vaccinated, we want you to continue to wear masks, refrain from indoor dining, Fauci says. So Fauci's just running the show like a complete psychopath. There are things, even if you're vaccinated, that you're not going to be able to do in society. What? Are you dictating this? Because I'm going to do whatever I want in society, and I have been since June of last year. So, for example, indoor dining, theaters. Well, then why are they opening the theaters in New York? Oh, wait, because Lord Cuomo is under a lot of scrutiny, and he thinks if he throws the people a nugget, they'll forget what he has done. Wrong. Places where people congregate. The words of a power-mad lunatic. The man has completely lost his shit. I'm going to go to a theater literally like the day it opens. Just because. Think about it. Just think about it. And you're going to go get a vaccine, but everything's going to stay status quo, right? Here you go. You go to Canada. If your results come back negative, you'll be able to quarantine at home. This quarantine is mandatory and will be enforced, says Justin Trudeau. If your test results come back positive for COVID-19, you'll be required to immediately quarantine in a designated government facility. So wait, let me get it straight. You're negative for COVID, but you're supposed to go to this mandatory government facility. If you have it, but if you're negative, you're not allowed to leave your home. So do the tests not work anymore? And why is it every place has a different test value? Why is it that in New York, it's like, oh, you come back from travel, it's 3 days, take a test. If you're good, you're good. Canada, how long's the quarantine? Is it still 14 days? I don't know. But if you're positive, you're going to a government facility? People of Canada, if you accept this, you're the biggest fucking morons ever, eh? So let's talk about it. I don't understand what goes on in this world. But the scare tactics and the fear-mongering continues. Here's a bunch of people back at school playing their instruments. Yes, they're playing their instruments inside of bubbles. Well, let's get a closer look at these bubbles. Okay? I'm going to get a closer look. Look at number 8. Look at him in his bubble. Is this real life right now? This poor bastard is hunched over, smashing his face into his notes. He's got his tuba jammed up there. I don't get how this is actually real life at all. But it is. Again, most people don't even know they get the virus. And that man's playing tuba in a plastic bag. Why don't they put a mask over the tuba? So as the air comes out, it catches all the droplets. Maybe 4 masks. Wondering. Oh, wait! New California COVID strain, highly infectious and could be more resistant to the vaccine. A COVID variant has emerged in California, which, according to scientists, spreads more readily and can evade the antibodies generated by vaccines or previous infection. Guys, if this is actually true and not fear-mongering, you're going to eventually get COVID, or you're going to get 1,000 injections and you're probably going to drop dead, or you're going to wait your whole life to drop dead inside. Just give it to me already. I don't even care. So a new strain of coronavirus surging through California is more infectious and at least partially more resistant to vaccines. Well, maybe. I don't know. Did they test it for a long period of time on these well-tested vaccinations? that were never really well tested because they've not even been around for a year yet and been used in human. What? So how do they know? How do they know it's more resistant? Maybe it's people that got the injection in December that it's, and the 3 months are up. Maybe it's only, which means all of them in 3 months are up. They don't know. They're talking out their ass. But let's continue. Because, if you use a little common sense and logical thinking, you figure it out. All right, so the U.S. state has seen a rise in cases and deaths in recent weeks, which is now being attributed in part to the variant. Researchers at UC San Francisco say that it should be marked as a variant of concern, like the UK strain. There's strains everywhere. You know why? Because viruses mutate. This is going to mutate, and they think it might last forever. So guess what? Life's over. Just a friendly reminder, life is over. Okay, so reports California variant will probably account for 90% of the state's infections by next month. So that's it. They're like, it's done. Everything that's going to happen from here on out is this variant, and the other variant's gone. They know. Does that make sense? They also said like 2 million people were going to die like in the first week of April last year. Do you remember that? That's when people were dying left and right. Well, if you have only one news source, this is what you'll be fed 24 hours a day. The fear tactics are real. Children are killing themselves and going to endless counseling, and the whole world has gone fucking rat mad woods backwards. Crazy mad backwards. And I'm going to show you how stupid it gets. That's right. We're going to get there. I cursed at some point, so I'm going to play that for you. So, yep, the variant probably first emerged in May, but has now become dominant. So it just chilled out, had a siesta during the summer months, and now it's like, yo, I'm back. Let's do this shit. There we go. We're here. It's got a new name and everything, and everybody is going to get it with severe. It also is associated with severe illness and death. This is all they tell you all the time. Twice as likely. Okay? So it's here. And it's going to happen. And they're going to try to force you to get vaccinated and then still do exactly what they want you to do forever and ever and ever. He said a contest between the two variants. Ooh, there can only be one variant. The two could quicken the spread of the strain that is best able to elude the effects of the vaccine and urge people to try and stop the spread of the coronavirus. If viruses don't replicate, they don't mutate. So wear 1,000 masks, never leave your house. That's where we're at. Because otherwise it'll mutate and it's all your fault. But we're going to get to race. We're going to get to how stupid everyone is, and I have a solution. I needed to come up with the solution, and I've come up with a solution. So we have, of course, this meme. I'm sure everyone saw it. And if you have any sense of humor left, it's still funny. So official Real Tina put up, there's a black bear, brown bear, and then the racist bear. The racist bear, of course, is the polar bear, who's white. And I'm going to show you why this actually fits the real world, because I have videos of it. So we're going to get there. And of course, breaking news, the Coca-Cola polar bear is, after working his whole entire life for Coca-Cola, he was notified he was too white and no longer needed because of his racist problems. So let's get to it. Well, let's start. How mad have we gone? Well, this came up on my screen today and I thought it was a joke, and of course it's not. Because anything that should be a joke that sounds completely insane just is not anymore. So, decolonizing veganism on resisting vegan whiteness and racism. That's right. We're getting down to the point that veganism is part of the white devil. Let's go into it. The problem with white veganism. It disregards the fact that the meat and dairy industries are inherently colonial legacies. It comes charging in on its moral high horse and forcing its beliefs that veganism is the only way forward. Listen, I've had vegans yell at me and vegetarians yell at me for eating chicken. They've actually begawked at me at the lunch table for eating chicken. But I accept what I am, and I like eating chicken. So thus, I like to eat meat. Life goes on, people. You can decide not to eat meat, and you're not racist. You're a vegan. You like not eating meat. You like animals as much probably as I do, but you just don't like eating them. And I respect that because you're free to do what you want. Well, is the vegan movement ready to reckon with racism? It's like, this life can't be true, but we're going to keep going. I'm proving to you how crazy everyone's gotten. The complicated relationship between blackness and veganism. Oh boy. Well, you thought that we couldn't get any crazier, but I'm going to one-up you. The racist language of space exploration, going to space now, is racist. The language of colonialism is infecting infecting outer space thanks to the dominance of rich white businessmen and politicians. Okay, we're going to get a little more crazy. How can our future Mars colonies be free of sexism and racism? But wait, do Black Lives Matter in outer space? Question mark. These are real articles. These are fucking real.
That was easy.
So, we can't get any crazier, right? But we can. So Cartoon Network put up the See Color, Be Anti-Racist. So when we've had this talk many times where people refer to themselves as colorblind as a way to say that they're not racist. So I have to clear this up because clearly everybody's suffering from a crazy amount of mental illness. If somebody says they're colorblind, it doesn't mean that they don't actually know that the person they're talking to is white or black. It means that they fully accept it and they're not making any predeterminations on that person or harboring ill will and hate because the person's different than them. It doesn't mean that they're actually colorblind and they can't tell. Because that seems to be a point of tension when you speak to somebody and you say you're colorblind. They say that's not the point. So now the new statement is to see color. So, newsflash, everyone knew that people were of different races. They just didn't give a shit because it doesn't matter. It's 2021. They love thy neighbor as if they are the same person because they are. They're humans. They do what? They breathe, eat, shit, live, die. They do it all the same way as I do it all, you do it all, and it doesn't matter. So sure, we are seeing in color. Let's clear it up. We just don't care about the difference in color because we respect you the way you're supposed to be respected. And I would assume the same way back. Now, we're going to go a little deeper into the madness. Because everything is racist, and everybody has taken the upload and they've let it run rampant. So, let's go in. The UN panel, we've talked about this I think last week. Technology and policing can reinforce racial bias. So they're saying artificial intelligence is going to end up being racist. This is the movement now. So if you have artificial... So I'm going to watch where I bring this shit. This is good. There's an article, Why White People Owning Dogs is Racist. You're not supposed to own a dog if you're white. Now, what happens if you took artificial intelligence and dogs and owned it? Well, then you'd get the I got to remember the name? The DigiDog. There it is. The NYPD's new artificial intelligent remote control robotic dog. I guess this right here is exactly what 2021 envisioned when they thought about racist artificial intelligence and people owning dogs. Right there. That's Bill de Blasio's dog, essentially. Let's see it in action, because it's kind of cute. Here we go. Look at it go. Now, I'm wondering, if this thing came running at you in the alleyway, I would hope that the dog still sounded like a dog to instill fear in me as it was taking me down if I was, like, doing a crime. It's a pretty cute electric bot dog, though. The DigiDog, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And then we go more to identity politics, separating people for the gain of basically unionizing and connecting everybody and galvanizing and making people feel like they've done wrong. Obama says white resentment made reparations a non-starter during his presidency. Everything has to come down to these things. Remember this past summer when Instagram introduced the new stickers that you could put on your stories? Mute white people. To tell people there was more than just mute white people. So this is someone's Instagram, this is someone's post from Twitter about the mute white people sticker. I had some fun with mine. This is what when it came out. I was in Rhode Island, and this is what I posted. I tagged Zuckerberg in it and everything. I put mute white people stickers around him, the notice your privilege sticker, this fight ain't over sticker, hashtag vote, and I even put up a little poll, and I said, who thinks Mark should be muted because he's white? Well, if Mark's saying, mute white people, he forgot also he's white, so they should have muted Mark Zuckerberg himself, and we had 88% of the people said he should be muted, and 12% said he gets a pass because he's rich. And then here we go. I said, homie's probably going to ban me. Well, the shadow bans are real. There's 2 people in the room right now. You tell me how that happened. This notification went out, or should have went out, to thousands. Now, this one was my favorite. I got to this one and I just said, gotta be fake. And then I read about it and it's not fake. The unintentional racism found in traffic signals. Just because something doesn't use an offensive mascot doesn't mean it can't reinforce a broken system. So let's dive into it. I said, how? I wanted to know, how can the street signs, the traffic signs, be racist? Well, I'm going to let you know. My friend is white. This is right from the article. And I'm not. Something I'd never given a second thought until we reached a crosswalk. Remember, honey, she said to her daughter, as we waited for the light to turn green, we need to wait for the little white man to appear before we can cross the street. I realized that white people like to exert control over nearly everything everyone does, I thought. But since when did this literally include trying to cross the street? I asked myself. It didn't. This was a figment of your imagination. So should we turn the walking man green? And will that offend trees that have... What the fuck goes on?
That was easy.
But we're going to go deeper. Because feelings and what we've been told and how we've been programmed is very, very instrumental in this. Somebody else with a check mark. Again, I don't know all these people with check marks. I know that they feel very, very, very special because Twitter and Instagram gave them check marks, so they're special. They're real people. I don't know who's chomping at the bit to get this guy to mimic this guy, but maybe there are. So me and Jen Ashley Wright have decided our future child will only know about Black Santa. If they see a white one, we'll say that's his husband. What? This is something you had to tweet? Like, it's all bizarre to me. It's very, 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 very bizarre. This is not normal. So, this is where I say there's a way to not be practicing hypocrisy. There's a way, if you really feel that because you're white, you are a problem and you are inherently racist, like I'm going to get to the videos of all the white people telling you how they are, and you are yourself if you're white racist. There's a way to stop this. Don't be a part of the problem. Don't procreate. And this is what this couple seems to have done. This is going viral today. We have some exciting news. We're anxious, but we're enthusiastic for what the future holds. We know that there will be challenges ahead, but it's going to be so worth it. Hashtag not expecting. Hashtag never will. Hashtag peanuts. Hashtag frozen peas aisle 4. Hashtag all the ice cream he wants. Hashtag vasectomy. And he has a vasectomy balloon. If you really can't bear being white because you really feel that you're racist, you must be actually racist if you feel it. I don't feel racist because I know I'm not racist, and that's why I said I would go on a lie detector with anyone that thinks that they're not racist. And I guarantee you I will beat you hand over fist, or we'll both be perfect. But if we're both perfect, I'm sure we don't sit here and dissect street signs as racist. Now, I applaud this couple. At least they're practicing what they preach. You got a vasectomy, you're not going to procreate, you're going to let your whiteness die with you, even out the numbers like some sort of high school entrance test. You're going to change everything, affirmative action, the population. Good on you. I think you're crazy, but clearly you are a little crazy. You probably think street signs are racist. But at least you're doing your part, man. But let's get to the nitty gritty. Here's some videos, and I'm going to start with this video came out prior to her second video. So listen to her message.
I had a really shitty moment where I lost my temper. I was trying to do something and my cat wouldn't move. And I lost my temper on him and I yelled.
I'm going to pause there. So she's freaking out that she tried to do something and she was in a bad mood and her cat got in the way. She's hysterical crying. She's not emotionally stable in the slightest. So we got to take this. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood. My cat gets in the way. Sometimes I'm doing a newscast and I'm like, come on, get out of the way. And I give her a little push and she jumps off the table. Right? I don't lose my mind. Sometimes I got news. My cat's a little bitch and she just attacks me for no reason. Corners my soon-to-be mother-in-law and attacks her. And you know what she gets called? A bitch. And then we all make up at the end. The cat's fine. The cat turns around. Sometimes, just like humans, cats can act weird. My fiance's actually had a brawl with my cat. Squared up, hissed, the whole nine. But you know, it taught the cat a lesson. The cat didn't attack her for no reason anymore. This woman's having a full meltdown that she was mean to the cat. But let's go. So she lost it. Let her finish her story.
I yelled at him for no reason. And I know that sounds so dumb, but I feel awful. And he's hiding
Cat's
from me.
hiding from her.
I know. I know how I look right now. But damn, he doesn't deserve my irritation.
Doesn't deserve the irritation.
Nobody really does. Sometimes we just feel really shitty and
Sometimes
we
feel.
react.
Quote, feel.
But the shitty thing with him being a cat is I don't know if he understands me when I say I'm sorry. But humans do, so make sure you apologize to people when you treat them badly. Do. So I just...
Okay, a lot of feelings there. And when we go on feelings, so there is a statement that went around that really offended people. When people went, like, fuck your feelings, and they put, like, Trump 2020 up or whatever they did. And everyone's like, these are the type of people you want to associate yourself with? Yeah, feelings in general, if you feel... This woman had a meltdown, and then she felt that she couldn't apologize to the cat because the cat doesn't understand English. And now she's having a meltdown. Now, we're going to show you how she tells you you're racist because you're white. Because she feels a certain way. But maybe this is all internal guilt for actually feeling racist. She might be a wild racist on the inside, and she's trying to virtue send and fix herself by attacking herself. It's like the immune system when it attacks things and it ends up attacking itself. But let her tell you.
If you're white, yes, you are racist, even if you think you're woke. We all benefit from oppression. Pretending you're not racist only makes racism grow. If you're white, yes, you are racist, even if you think you're woke.
So there you go. Even if you're white, you're a racist. She said it. She's white. So she's saying no matter what she does, she is racist. If you are a white, you are racist. She must not procreate because she's racist. Now you see, if she procreated with somebody outside of her race to fuse the race, then she did a great thing. She actually tried to combine races, and she's trying to assimilate all races into one unity. So she's going for something specific. Okay? Picking somebody just for a specific race, kind of borderline racist. What happens if somebody from another race actually says, hey, I'm going to get with this racist because she's by default a racist? Does that make them racist for accepting a racist because that person's white? Do you see how none of this logically can meet end to end? It's all over the place madness, and it's been proven. And we're supposed to listen to a white person after we're supposed to mute white people. We're supposed to listen to a white person tell us how racist we are because we're white. I would have to assume people of all races are laughing at people that act like this. And I'm laughing with them. Because this woman was a complete embarrassment. And the moral of feelings and what she knows, she had a full breakdown because she couldn't say sorry to her cat in the cat's language, which would be meow, 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 meow. But let's listen to this teacher explain why teachers should not teach if... I'll let her tell you the story. Wait, no, skip.
If you
There we
don't
go.
believe that there's white privilege, please don't teach. If you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, please don't teach. If you don't believe in systemic racism and how it negatively impacts our students of color and don't want to help dismantle those systems, please don't teach.
So that woman made a little song, and in her little song she said, if... I've done it through as I can't actually hear the audio that you hear while I'm broadcasting, but essentially, if you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, you shouldn't teach. If you don't believe that you are, you have white privilege, you shouldn't teach. So there's all this stuff, which leads me to Candace Owens' tweet, which was a great one. I won't be sending my children to any government-run schools. It's time for parents to seriously consider homeschooling. They are mass-producing, quote, woke activist children who can't do basic math or write a proper sentence. Racism, hate, and anger are now the academic standard. And again, everyone told me to listen to black voices, and I listen to Candace Owens all the time. She's black, and she's telling you that these schools are completely ruining the youth. And they are. You should be able to be whatever political party you want, but you shouldn't go to school and come home and say, hey, Mom, Dad, I am racist. And yes, Michael, she is so freaky and she is cringy. So, yes, 110%. They have complete crazy eyes. My cat yelled at me, crazy eyes, singing with the crazy eyes. It's crazy town. And then this is where feelings lead. This is back from December, but a lot of people are hearing about it now. Lizzo, the singer Lizzo, who is very famous and for her body image and how she promotes her sexiness, even though she's a very large woman. She did a 10-day juice detox, and her fans on the internet actually got mad at her for doing a healthy diet. So they wanted to tell her, so this is how crazy people are. They say, when you say things like, we don't care about your feelings, but then you go and tell somebody who is overweight that did not feel comfortable with where they were at and did a detox juice diet that they shouldn't do it. And mind you, some of these people were white and this is a black woman. And they were telling this woman what to do with her body, how to eat, and you can't do that specifically if you're white and she's black because we just read all the rules. That doesn't work out. Do you see how the logic and the feelings and everything that's being fed do not match? There's no way to match what's going on here. It's all put to separate us. At the end, it's meant as a complete division tactic. So we're going to get into sex now. Not that type of sex. We're going to get into male and female sex. Today, breaking news, Mr. Potato Head is no longer Mr. Hasbro is changing the name to be gender neutral. The new name is Potato Head, as per Bloomberg News. Right, now we have some little pictures. So Hasbro rolls out gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head toy. All while California bill is requiring gender-neutral stores, and it will fine retailers $1,000 for having separate boy and girls toy departments. I don't know where we're going in this world, but it's very, very bizarre. And here we go. Hold on. What's next on the agenda? There you go. Elon Musk tweeted the other day, I hate when people confuse education with intelligence. You can have a bachelor's degree and still be an idiot. We have a lot of people that think they're extremely smart that are acting like idiots. And this is not about political parties. This is about logic, breaking down logic. You can't possibly think that all of these things that occurred make any sense. And if you do, and you believe that because your university told you this, and you paid thousands of dollars to go to like some sort of gender study class and a race study class where you walked in and they were like, well, you're messed up. You're a man, you have a penis, oh, and you're white. Screw you. If that's school, pay me and I will teach you whatever the hell you people want to hear. Anyone that wants to go to college, I will teach you it. Just tell me what you want. I will take your money. I'll even make a very cool degree. It'll be very nice and it'll be very nouveau. Having said all of this, let me see what the comments. If you can tell so easily, having said all this, the world has gone mad. And today they were interviewing. I was going to take the video to this, but I was scared that Facebook would all of a sudden mute it and say it's somebody else's property, so I didn't. They were grilling the what's the name? The name of the woman who's a trans woman who's now going to be like the Secretary of Health or whatever. And it was about Rand Paul is asking her. I know how they could say yes or no. Questions are loaded, and most of the times they are loaded, and you can't actually give a yes or a no. But he said, if a child as young as 3 says, I feel like I'm a different sex, do you support giving hormone treatment, stopping puberty, amputation of genitalia or breasts? And the incoming health secretary or assistant health secretary said that they would like to swing by the office and talk to him about it afterwards and have that discussion. There was no yes or no. This is a very, very touchy subject with a lot of people, and I think you should be able to do whatever you want, but I think a lot of parents, first off, not when you're a kid. That's not, when you're grown up enough, you can make your decisions, because doing surgery is very invasive, and hormone treatment, very invasive. But when you get older, you could do whatever you want. And that's 100% fine, and I respect it, and I've met people that are trans, and I have no problem with it. The problem is when you're 3 or 4, there was an HBO series, I believe it was, that was on recently, and the 3-year-old identified as a girl. They brought TV cameras into the house, and the mom said, tell the people that you are a girl. And the kid was like, I don't want to do this right now. And this is like I think he was 5 years old, 6 years old. I don't want to do this right now. And the mom's like, no, but it's okay. Tell them that you're a girl. And the 6-year-old boy didn't even want to be on TV, wanted no part of it. It seemed like he was still figuring out what he was feeling. And the mom was like, no, we're woke. You're a girl now. Let's go on HBO. And that in itself is very, very scary because the kid's not really making the choice. The parent is making the choice before the kid even made the choice. So this is a very, very crazy area. But in closing, we have some fun stuff. 1, American Airlines not denying possible UFO spotting. Says, talk to the FBI. Interesting. I think the aliens are due to swing by this year. It'd be very nice. And the stock market has gone bananas again. GameStop and AMC investors ready for another round tomorrow to wrap up the trading week. They show the diamond hands. I didn't hear no bell. Yesterday and after hours trading, GameStop was up to $180 a share from $43 last week. Very interesting times. And then today the stock market like barreled down. GameStop was at closing time 108 a share. It's a very interesting week that we have in the stock market toward the end. Let's see what Friday brings. My friends, my droogies, I shall see you on Monday as I do 2 episodes a week. Again, Mondays and Thursdays, and if I'm going to do one, I'll post about it. So if you may, follow us on @WeThePeopleAreTheNews on Facebook and Instagram. They're going to shadow ban us, so just know 6 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. Swing by, see the content, tell some friends. Because if you don't use your mouth now, you've already been canceled. You're not allowed to speak, you're not allowed to do anything, so you might as well do it and get canceled and still do it. Life goes on, people. Make sure you live it. Don't wear 15,000 masks in your basement with an air purifier and never leave again, because then did you ever really live life? Be safe and be smart. All right, see you next week, people. Have a good one. Yes, let's in fact go. And share this, because again, it doesn't get enough shares. That's my take on it, at least. All right, everyone. Peace out. See you soon.